Right. Hello, welcome to Daily Space. Today is June 12th, 2019. I am your host, Annie Wilson, and it's been a kind of light space mission week, but I do have some space mission news and the rest of the news that didn't get covered yesterday because things happen, life happens. Anyways, I think everybody's all here, and let's get at it, shall we? So, the first story I have for you today is SpaceX, but it's not this morning's launch. This was actually, I probably should have covered this last week, but things happen. So SpaceX does, for those of you that need a refresher, SpaceX has a contract with NASA to provide a whole 20 resupply missions to the International Space Station. And this one was CS-17, I think? But this is a return capsule, and this capsule has been used before, and it may be used again. So this is the Dragon Charlie 133. It returned to Earth on June 4th after 4 weeks docked at the ISS. This was, as I said, the second flight for this particular capsule, and the 6th time overall a Dragon cargo has been reused, and it's also the last newly manufactured Dragon 1. So there is no Dragon Charlie 114. It's just Charlie 113. That's literally the newest one that's been made. Dragon 1s are used for cargo, and Dragon 2s will be used for people. So there are 3 missions left in the contract SpaceX has with NASA to deliver supplies to the ISS. The next mission scheduled for July, no word on which capsule is going to be used for that mission, but I think there's only one capsule that can be reused a second time that hasn't already been reused. Otherwise, it's going to be a capsule that will be its 3rd reuse for this mission. This launch will be out of Florida, out of the Kennedy Space Center, and NASA socials actually kind of open it up again, so I might try to apply and see if we can do this, because that would be neat to probably not live stream, but live tweet from the launch. That would be really cool. We cover enough of these things that it'd be nice to see one in person. Anyways, so that's all I have really about this. It did come back to Earth full of cargo. No, I don't remember what's in there. And yes, there is a part of it that does get burned up in the atmosphere. The Dragon 1 capsules literally have a trunk, and you put all the junk in the trunk, and the trunk burns up in the atmosphere. That amuses me way more than it should. Way more than it should. But so yeah, this one may go on to see a 3rd flight. That'll be cool. Okay, so the other SpaceX story I have for you today was that there was a launch this morning, and yeah, we covered it, so it should be on video on demand right now. Don't watch it now, watch it later, but right now it should be available for video on demand, and you can watch everything from me setting up bingo and doing makeup to watching each of the satellites being released. It was an on-time launch. Everything went marvelous. Everything was nominal. It was super foggy. But yeah, so there's some things I have for you now that I didn't have for you last week about this launch or this morning. So first up is the mission patch, which I don't think we got to see during the stream. And for those of you that are just listening, the mission patch is a kind of a rounded triangle, and the outer part, like the outline of the triangle, is red, and inside of the red triangle is the Earth with 3 satellites, and the view of the Earth is focused on North America, specifically Canada. Off of the Pacific coast, off the coast of California, there's a 4-leaf clover, which is always included on decals by SpaceX for good luck. And there's 3 satellites representing the RADARSAT Constellation, and inside of the red border, well, rather on the red border, it says RADARSAT Constellation SpaceX Falcon 9, and it has a Canadian maple leaf. you know, for Canada, because RADARSAT was indeed a Canadian mission. So I thought this was a really neat patch and I wanted to share it with you. And no, I unfortunately don't have launch footage. This is not launch or return footage from this morning's mission, but this is an image of the booster, which again was recovered. This is an actual image of the booster that was reused and recovered, and this was probably the return of it for the Crew Dragon Demo 1. So yeah, this is an actual image of the actual booster that was reused today. And another image I have for you is all of the satellites mounted on the hardware that was attached to the rocket, and in front of them is the team, I'm assuming, that worked on these 3 satellites. And yeah, it's pretty amazing. It took me a little while to figure out, you know, where each satellite was, but they're kind of arranged on there in a little bit of a triangle, and it's neat. I thought it was neat to see all the satellites attached to the payload delivery system, I guess is what you could call it, with people for scale. And as a reminder, each one of these satellites is the same mass as a black rhino. These things are huge, huge. And I don't know what's up with the red hairnets. That might just be part of their color scheme. It was MDA, that's Mike Delta Alpha, which apparently is a Maxar company that built and possibly is going to use these satellites. So I'm not sure what's up with the red hairnets. That might just be part of the thing. Excuse me. The satellites were released about 4 minutes apart, and it was kind of just, it was neat. They were just kind of, you'd hear a tone and then boop, just release. So yeah, 4 minutes apart. And as far as I know, everything's healthy, which is awesome. And I will probably have more of an update on that next week. So yeah, that's literally all the space mission news I have for you today. I told you it was a slow week. I don't think there's any launches next week. So let's get into the news that I missed yesterday, shall we? So science. Science. All right, so we talked a little bit about Ceres yesterday, and we were meant to talk about more of the solar system. So now we're going to talk about more of the solar system. So our next story comes to us from the sun, or rather the story comes to us from the University of Colorado Boulder, and it is about the sun. Human beings haven't been able to observe our nearest star in scientific detail for all that many of thousands of years or even just decades. This means we really don't know what it is capable of throwing at us. To get a better understanding of our nearest star, it helps to look at other stars in our galaxy and beyond. And these other stars give us reason to be afraid. Oh no, I don't like where this is going. New research shows that superflares, giant outbursts of particles and energy, can happen on stars that are older and quieter, like our sun. While they are rare, the frequency with which they happen around other stars leads us to believe they can occur every few thousand years. Oof. Oof. Yeah. Remember how I said we've only been making observations for a few thousand years? That obviously hasn't been long enough. While we haven't been able to make detailed observations for more than a few decades, various peoples around the Earth have supernovae, comet, and meteor storm observations recorded in their histories, art, and religion. What we don't have in that record, at least not that anyone has recognized so far, is a record of a planet encompassing aurora triggered by this kind of a massive outburst. There may be hints in the geologic record of mass die-offs that could have been tied to supernova or this kind of superflare, but there's nothing definitive. And as they say in the press release, this needs to be a wake-up call for a world. While we are quite rightly panicking about climate change and our plastic pollution, some part of our "oh god, we're going to die" energy needs to also go into thinking about how we can protect ourselves and our digital infrastructure from this kind of event. Who are we kidding? The digital infrastructure will likely fry. We need to at least think about ourselves and plan to break out the cameras to observe the aurora. Wow. Wow. Massive super flares that would cause aurora to be seen all around the globe. That's just... that's wild. Yeah. Yeah. Okay then. And yes, all of our digital electronics are going to fry. So... okay, so I'm going to share a link in chat because I don't think I can share... I don't think I can play this where you can hear it. So this is a bunch of, I don't know why they caught end credit Streamlabs in there. So these are a bunch of spheres with different patterns on them, and we'll get into what those are in a second. So here's a story that's just for fun. Some of you may have played musical instruments or blown over the mouths of soda or water bottles to make them make noise. The tone you heard was a function of how hard you blew in the shape of the bottle or instrument, and the notes you hear are actually made up of a variety of harmonics we perceive as one rich note. It turns out the atmosphere of stars can resonate in the same way that a bottle can resonate with sound. No one needs to blow on our sun. The reactions going on inside of it are enough to drive sound waves in its atmosphere. Now, a team from the Sonification of Solar Harmonics project has made it possible for you, yes you, to hear a version of what the sun would look like if human ears could hear something that big rumbling in the sky. The cool thing is, the sun can actually have all sorts of different sound waves moving through it at once, so it can effectively play chords, whoa, with different notes pulsating on and off over shorter and longer periods of times. Whoa, the sun could potentially play chords. Whoa. That's wild. And I'm assuming that these are images of just how the sounds would end up being like on the surface. Part of me is like, this is a Star Strider question, and I don't think we have a Star Strider. So speaking of Star Strider questions and things, so some of you yesterday were all, hey, what's up with the mass at the moon's south pole? Which actually made me think that the pictures of Ceres were the moon and that we were going to talk about the mass at the moon's south pole. I have no idea. I still have no idea what's going on with that, but because I know if I don't say anything, somebody will ask, and then I'll be like, I don't know. Dr. Pamela is trying to secure an interview with someone that knows way more about this story, so stay tuned. Hopefully that'll happen later this week. Maybe it'll happen next week, but she's trying to get an interview so we can talk about this phenomenon in depth. Because remember, I'm not an astronomer, I just play one on Twitch. So that is all the news I had for you today. And we are going to, I'm going to pull up the doggo cam again in a second as soon as I find it. Oh, nope, wrong one. Doggo cam, where are you, doggo cam? Alright, there's the doggo cam. So, I saw a couple of things happen. I am going to scroll up. Saturn must be really dizzy. Now's a good time to ask questions. If you didn't ask questions before, please at me. My brain is everywhere. There we go. Yeah, because I know there's a whole bunch of subs and tweets and bits and stuff. All right, Puck, are you ready? Are you ready for some treats? All right, so here's the Cheerios for Wayne Johnson's cheer. And make it rain. Puck's like, I don't know what happened. I feel bad for Puck. Resmet says that 4-leaf clover looks like a Becker's milk logo. Sorry, I'm dating myself as a Toronto kid from the 1980s. It's all right. What's up with the red wigs? Talking about the red hairnets. I don't know. It's Canada. Red's a color for Canada. And they were indeed red clean room caps. They were in clean room. That's why they were wearing hairnets, because you want to keep as much stuff off. You shed hair all the time. You don't even notice it. All right. So we had a follow for from known as the Rat. So here's some Cheerios. Are you ready, Puck? And make it rain. He's like, I want to flinch, but I'll eat the Cheerios. There he goes. Let's see. The next launch might be Rocket Lab's Make It Rain, but is only specified as sometime in late June. Right. I know that it's been pretty quiet. Like, I know there's not really a launch. The last time I looked, there's not really a launch between now and next Wednesday. So Michael T. Meyer asks, did you notice how the satellites moved apart before they were deployed? I forgot the CosmoQuest the first time. No, I did not catch that. I was probably too busy getting Flame Lord to just look at the screen. So did they really just pull apart and then they were released? Because that's amazing. If they did that, and that's clever too. Michael T. Meyer also asks, are super flares coronal mass ejections? Chat, I'm not sure. Can you help me out? Because I don't know enough about solar astronomy to know. Shh, 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 shh. All right, and then there was a sub from Michael T. Meyer. So thank you for the sub. Puck's like, I moved and there's Cheerios everywhere. The dog, I think, has reached satiation and saturation for Cheerios. So here's the Cheerios, and make it rain. You're leaving a field of Cheerios, Puck. Normally they're much more enthusiastic about this. They really are. Encounter the third kind tones, I bet. Yeah. Larry says, I think that mass was the asteroid that created the Tin Basin, my guess. I know they do, I know a couple of the things I read did say something about an asteroid, but I am literally saving the moon story for Dr. Pamela, because she's going to explain it much better, because she's going to understand it much better than I do. Because right now I'm just like, well, there's an odd spot in part of the moon. Side MTS, I think the images taken by Juno have more blue colors than the images by other spacecrafts. Is there any reason for this? I don't know. I don't know. I don't typically work with Juno images, so I don't know the intricacies of their image processing. It might be filters that they're using, because usually everything's taken in grayscale and then colorized. It might just be the filters that they're using. We could probably have to look. We'd probably have to look. Michael T. Meyer says, I rewound the stream and the satellites were definitely moved apart sometime before the first one was deployed. That's actually pretty cool. No, Larry, I don't think he rewound the live stream. I think he rewound the video on demand. The question was, earlier was, is a super flare a coronal mass ejection? And I don't know. Veronica asks, how come they could launch the Falcon 9 with all that fog when planes can't? My guess is that They didn't need the visibility because they're going up, and airspace above a launch is typically cleared before they launch, so they knew there was nothing up there that they were going to run into. They may have also been able to... It looked like they had cameras that were further away that could see above the fog. So that might have been why. Also, maybe they're just used to launching like that. And as Ambia says, there's no buildings it can crash into. Literally, there was nothing it can crash into. It was just going up. Adam Altogether says... All JunoCam images we see are composites of a red, a blue, and a green filtered image. Yes, that's usually how space images are. Puck, there's so many Cheerios over there. I feel bad. There's a field of Cheerios and no dogs eating them. Michael T. Myers says, Side MT, I don't know about the colors, but Juno has an unusual camera that scans across the surface while taking an image. I've forgotten the details. Good to know. I think I've looked at processing Juno images before, but I think I backed out of it. I think I saved all of your ears fast enough. Yeah, they had opinions. They had opinions. I think the mail was delivered. Yeah, I haven't really worked with Juno images. I've mostly worked with Hubble images, and I'm working on a Spitzer image. Thank you. I try to be very quick on the mute button. I literally have a push to mute button or a cough button. And yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. And it is indeed practice. So yeah. The wiki, Larry Weird says, the wiki article on Superflare does not mention coronal mass injection. My brain immediately goes to, how can I automate this? Automate what? The muting? Or the colorization of the images? You can write software that mutes automatically if there's a short and fast spike in audio level. Yes. And I'm sure I could set up my thing to do that. Use voice meter banana in combination with macro buttons. And I use the macro button to literally do the push to mute. And I could potentially come up with like an automatic button that would mute if there was a loud spike. So yeah. Yeah, I know it's possible. I just haven't done it. So, any other questions? Any other comments? I know there's a field of Cheerios that are uneaten, and which makes me very sad. Apparently, my dogs are full. So, yeah, I do try to automate a lot of stuff. It depends on how tedious it is. So, and there's the cat. So that's definitely the sign to get off of the stream for the day. And we've done a lot of streaming. So how do I close this? But then speak Puck won't work. That is true. Me asking the dogs to speak would immediately get them muted. Although, you know, if Puck does his soft speak. Live Science says the Super Flare is much worse than a CME, a whole different class. Oh wow. Wayne Johnson says, I'm sitting in the little green dragon with a pint of XT London Porter. See you all soon. Thanks, Annie. Enjoy your porter. That sounds amazing. And yeah, I'm going to log off and do work type things. And does anybody have any suggestions for who I should stream? And out of curiosity, oh, we're at 393. We're one image closer to being halfway with Bennu. Yeah, does anybody have any suggestions of who to raid? See if EJ is still going. EJ is indeed still going. Alright, so we're gonna raid EJ unless anybody else has any suggestions. I should actually probably check Brain Bites. Oh, Serpent AI's raiding. Or Serpent AI was streaming earlier. And who's live on TKF? Scroll, 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 all the way to the bottom. Maybe Adam? Adam. We'll do EJ because nobody said anything else. Alright, so Wall of Text time. So this has been a production of PSI in collaboration with Youngstown State University. PSI stands for Planetary Science Institute, which is a 501c3 non-profit corporation, which is essentially fancy speak for donations are tax deductible where laws allow. We are brought to you by you, so thank you to everybody that's, you know, shared with your friends, you know, inflicted random science on your friends, donated, bought merch, bits, cheers, subs, follows. Thank you for all of it. All of it. We really do appreciate it, and we really are here because of you. And we have a Discord server. You can come hang out with us on the Discord server. We're mapping Bennu. Please help us map Bennu. We're 800 some images away from the halfway point. We're going to have a celebration stream when we hit the halfway point. We archive all of our videos on YouTube, so if you missed the video on demand, don't panic. It'll be on YouTube. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you're missing out on the fun of being part of the live stream. So we live stream Sunday through Friday, most days, at 1 p.m. Eastern. Right now that is 1700 hours UTC, and I think that's all the things. I'm going to assume that's all the things. Anyways, I'm going to awkwardly roll the credits because that's what I do. And, yeah, I will see you all soonish. Until then, have a wonderful insert time of day here. Be kind to each other, and if, you know, the weather allows, look up. So, bye all.